And so like this composition is basically like the whole value chain of trading right here. And we're going to be talking about AI, but specifically why people don't feel super comfortable yet completely letting AI totally loose with their investments. And it's kind of a silly thing because people feel very comfortable taking stock tips off of Reddit or from the guy they met in their on the golf course. But then when you ask Claude for some investing tips and you think that they're a little bit funny, all of a sudden we become compliance officers and we're not very forgiving. So we're going to investigate that a little bit. So I'll start with you, Sal. I think when we think of like AI and investing, we think immediately of stock picking. Like, can this beat the market? Is that like the right frame of reference? Should we be thinking about it that way?
Who here has actually taken a stock pick from AI and purchased it? Yeah, okay. Who here has taken their own portfolio and given it to AI for assessment? Yeah. Who here does that on a regular basis? Good. Yeah. I think it's the wrong question, right? Like, who beats the market? Like couch potato, like people. It's really hard to stock pick, right? I run my portfolio multiple times a day through. I don't run it. Claude, OpenClaw tells me about it every day. But it's the wrong question, right? Like, it's like where I think the real opportunity lies is comprehension of what you currently own and what you currently have. Like, sitting in the front row, I have like both my kids, 21, 22. Like, this guy will buy Bitcoin futures at 2 a.m. Well, what does that even mean? Does he even know what he's doing? Like, and so like the products have become so complicated, but the knowledge around them is still not accessible, right? And so it's not about like finding the 10 bagger. Like, it's more around like, this is my belief. It's like, this is what I currently have. Can you tell me about it, right? And give me more comprehension. And then that's where I feel it really lies. It's not about stock picking.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you think your customers would agree?
Yeah. So like, it's a little bit about myself, president of growth at Questrade. Our customers, like I run like crypto events, futures, metals, and really our customers are self-directed, right? By choice. So they chose to go on a platform without an advisor, and they choose to make those decisions, right? And so, we're doing a lot on our side to integrate AI into our Pro platform. But yes, I absolutely think our customers would agree. And it's our job actually to create products, and work with Andrew's group as well, we can get into it, but to create products that help bring them up the curve with comprehension and data, and AI layered on top of it. Yeah.
So then let's go there. Andrew, where is AI like most helpful now? Is it with product discovery? Is it like tips and recommendation, education?
I think we're enjoying it in a research context, and I still think there's a huge audience of people who are determined to find alpha somewhere in the mix. But I am also of the opinion it's a bit of a fool's errand. I think there's just some basic building blocks that we're still putting in place. So even just something as simple as, I want the S&P 500, but I want no guns in it, right? Like, how do you do that in a chat-based or agent-mediated way right now? It's almost not possible. And so just taking existing rules-based methodologies, whether those are model portfolios or indices or ETFs or overlays, all of that, and making it machine-readable and making it parsable and composable, and even handling all the rights and entitlements of the groups that created those methodologies. Those are sort of basic building blocks that we're going to need to get to this, almost infinite design space on the other side. And they're also the preconditions for good portfolio construction. So right now you've got like this sort of single stock crowd running out ahead of the pack, but people who are actually in more measured or common portfolios are sort of waiting and watching and seeing what's possible, I guess.
And I guess where do you think that like breaks down? Like where's the limit of what you're talking about?
What in which context? Like, what do you mean breaks down?
Like you're saying that it can be like helpful in portfolio, like in modeling, for example. Like what's like the furthest yet you think that you can take that?
Well, you can do some pretty incredible things. Like that's the honest truth. You can get infinitely composable. You could, I'll just give a really simple example. So I think it's not too spicy of a take to say that our definition of AI today, if you wanted AI exposure, your definition today is probably different than it would have been a year ago and probably different than it would have been 2 years ago. But your selection of methodologies was largely written 2+ years ago by big incumbents. And so even just being able to say, oh, you know what, I trust S&P or MSCI, I want to start with an AI exposure, but the Centrini AI piece that came out was incredible, and I kind of want to tilt my AI exposure in the direction of that piece. Right? I think we can get into a world where you start with really good portfolio construction principles, but anything you find on the internet that you think is good research can then get embedded or baked into your particular portfolio construction.
Okay, so continuing down the path of research and data, Braden, like I feel like we have more access to data than we ever had. Whether it's, I joked at the beginning about, Reddit, but there is just so much more information that is available both to like the retail and also to institutions. Does all that data help? Are we better investors because of it?
Well, it is. It does help definitely, but it's all about how people use it. So I think if I was to summarize what we've been talking about so far, it's like robots are really good at synthesizing and aggregating, but really bad at decision making potentially, and humans are really good at decision making. And so with all that data, one of our clients, N of 1, they put together something called the Alpha Arena, which put together every model, all these parameters, and said, here's 10,000 hypothetical dollars over 3 months, see what happens with trades. 4 of them lost over 95% of the capital, which is like impressive. Like you're crushing them, by the way, with these Bitcoin futures. And so there was only 3 models that actually had a positive return. And so it had so much data to deal with, but really poor decision making. And the ones that traded the most did the worst, like the classic, right? So more data always helps. And Fiscal AI just aggregates the fundamental financial raw filings. So like the things that you'd really want to know, like who has Spotify on their phone, right? Like pretty much everyone in the room. That stock only moves on subscriber numbers. Nothing else matters. Like the earnings per share, revenue beat, like nothing, none of those things matter. And so like we deliver that to our customers faster than everybody because it's the only thing that actually matters. So yes, it helps, but there are still going to be individual investors who do, more research on their dishwasher than a stock they bought, 5 minutes ago. So it helps, but it still matters what the user and the decision-making process is going to be.
I was reading I think this was announced this week, that Robinhood is now, you heard of them, yeah. They announced that they're allowing certain customers to completely automate their trading. And the caveat is, I think, that they have to restrict funds to a specific account. So they're going to say, this is my traditional account that I use, and I can automate some things, or it's self-directed. But the fully automated one is, there's some walls around it. Can I get some thoughts on that announcement? Good, bad, crazy, inevitable.
I just like how the YOLO company created a YOLO playground within it.
Checks out. Not to pump Questrade too much here, but like the way that you guys are rolling out custom indexing, which is done, I think, really, really well, which is basically, and you've partnered with Andrew on this, is basically that vision of, hey, I want the S&P 500, but I think Tesla's exposure is too high. To be able to make those switches and have it still be automated and passive versus like, all right, Claude, like roll the dice. I think those are two very different things.
I'll go back to the comprehension layer, being like a direct-to-consumer platform. All of us are in this situation. We own ETFs, right? Like we have the S&P, we probably have, I know, ARC, or we have, some other tech, semiconductor. Like there's so much overlap in that of what you hold. Plus what then you bought some NVIDIA too, right? Like we all did, right? Where AI does this really, really well is like looking all of that and saying like, did you know that you have this much exposure to one thing, right? And like we can talk about, whether it beats the market or whether we do automated investing, and those things, I'm all into them as soon as regulations allow us to do that here, because the environment is very different. That doesn't allow human-less trading right now. But once we get there, that's all great. But it's more around like, for the last 15 years, people that manage their money haven't beat the market. And it's not because they picked the wrong stock, it's because they made the wrong decision at the wrong time. And that's where tools and data really help, right? It's like, don't sell right now, right? Or you talked about what to buy, what not to sell. like that's the, and yeah, so I feel really excited about what Robinhood does, because I feel, it foreshadows what's coming. And we will have, I'm sure, money managers and hedge funds will have their own AI agents that you can pay for that will manage your money in real time. There is no doubt in my mind, right? And we'll need those types of services. But for me, it's about using AI more for comprehension purposes. Yeah.
And so then, what's the role of what's the role of a human then? So like if your AI can construct a beautiful portfolio, it has access to infinite amounts of data. It's a beautiful user experience. It can tell you, don't be so emotional. Don't sell right now. Wait.
Are you gonna listen to it?
Yeah, but what then? That your dad's guy, or like your advisor. What's the role there?
I got a couple thoughts. There's always some amount of liability involved. So at some level, you have an advisor, and part of the job is just, if shit goes wrong, it's on them. But where I think it gets really interesting that humans do have a different kind of role to play is you might have some conviction that, I'll just use the Centrini piece again, that Centrini piece is actually pointing to a good articulation of the future, right? But there's an ocean between feeling that way and putting on a trade where you capture that alpha. And where I think AI is really helpful is de-risking that whole thing. So putting focus where you think the insight is a quality insight, but doing it through the lens of good portfolio construction, amortizing it into the cross section, and essentially giving you ways to avoid losing your shirt if you happen to be wrong. I think that's where AI can be really instrumental.
Like if you look at how many people here have financial advisors that manage their portfolio? Right, like those that have, like half my portfolio is here, half my portfolio is here, one third. So this guy from Andrew from Wood Gundy manages part of my portfolio. And so, 10% of his job, I would say, is like, hey, Sal, like I have this idea. What do you think? And Andrew and I have built a relationship, not this Andrew, and yeah, do it, man, like whatever. I might go and buy that in my own portfolio too, but that's only 10%. I say 90% of his job is like when shit hits the fan, like Sal, let's not do anything right now. Don't worry. Or this is what I'm doing to prepare for that. And I believe that 90% can be replaced by AI. But I want to go back to like the hands raised here. I'm going to say like 80 to 90% of Canadians don't have an advisor. Wow. So like we should have these AI tools, like, and we're working like to provide those services, right? When things are exasperated, or you have an idea, like that's where AI can be really helpful, is providing tools and guidance for people that don't have that access, right? Because the truth is, not many people have advisors, right?
It's a really good point. I actually hadn't thought about it exactly through that lens, but right now, the choice you're forced to make is you're either going to be paying advisory level fees,
Right.
or you're being asked to go blind
Right.
into
Instagram,
some
like, space,
exactly,
right? Like,
exactly.
Everybody at SpaceX is 16 days now, right? Like,
Yeah.
go buy Rocket Lab, everybody. Like, should I? I don't know. Like,
And there's a lot of regulatory focus on, well, make sure the AI doesn't make any recommendations, but
Right.
what if these recommendations are for you to practice more restraint, or for you to have more awareness around the consequence?
But that's such a bizarre thing, because like a tool like yours is fully auditable in terms of how something got into an index, whereas like a portfolio manager who has 3 years of poor returns is like, oh, cool. Right? Like, it's okay. But AI, like, oh no, like, why did they make that decision? Or can we let AI make those decisions?
Yeah. Actually, here's a question for the room. Does anyone do any direct indexing, tax loss harvesting as part of their strategy? Here's a fun fact. Like, that is an algorithm. And if you asked your advisor to explain how the algorithm made its selection, no chance. Zero chance they're going to be able to do so. There's no attribution and explainability built into that. But technically, they're running a black box algorithm on your behalf.
Yeah.
Somehow we think that that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? AI can do better than that. AI can do perfect explainability
Yes.
and attribution so that every decision is load bearing to some specific degree that can be reported back. Right? So there's things that we take for granted that I think.
Yeah, it wasn't in the news like the CPP underperformed the market. Like that's all of our money, right? Like,
The CPP went from passive indexing to actively management. I think it's 2004, and they've lost to the market by 4% per year.
400 basis points, right? Like that's our money, right? Like it's
That, like, again, impressively bad performance. It's
that's
actually,
okay,
it's
but
like
like,
actually
oh
hard
no,
to invest
like,
that bad.
Yeah.
Smart people too.
Well,
They're probably using AI, right?
well, when shit hits the fan, the best thing to do is to close your laptop and go to the beach, right? Like, that's historically always been the best thing to do. But when you have 80 smart people with their Excel models, they are forced to make decisions because they're being paid to do so. The right decision the whole time was go to the golf course, but the incentives are to hammer the trade button.
And I'll just, if I may, just to zoom out one level of where we are right now with the implementation of AI, and this applies to Braden's business as well, is you have this really powerful intelligence, but really everything that it's been trained on is sort of one big corpus, and it's nearly impossible to say to your AI, whatever it might be, tell me about the state of the world on May 19th, 2024. It's not equipped to do that. But the entire industry of investing has been built around this notion of time, right? And time series data. And you need that determinism in every single run before you can start to get into these interesting use cases. And we're just now fusing those structures together, and it's early days. And so that's largely why we're seeing some use cases, but not others at the moment.
Do you think of data the same way, Braden?
I don't know what the question is.
So I mean, I guess what's the ideal end state for fiscal AI? Is it you've aggregated every possible data source that any like retail or institutional platform can plug into, or is it to make it easier for platforms like Andrew's to do more sophisticated computation and portfolio construction? Or
Once we have a point in time, we're going to do it.
We're
now.
working towards it. We're working towards it. I check in every few months.
He does. So we're going to do other asset classes. We're going to, there's the good thing about running a data business is it's not like you go sit down for a meal at a restaurant and go, I'll have one entree. Like our customers are like, I want everything, right? So there's always kind of like this insatiable demand for data, compute, electricity. That's like three things that are just common. And so kind of the end state and the vision that we have with our customers and our business model is paperwork isn't work, in my opinion. Paperwork is terrible work. So back to that human layer is very much so on that decision-making layer. And so if you can have that advisory level that we're talking about, but ultimately you make those decisions, if we're talking about individual investing, like retail investing, personal finance, the first word is personal, right? And so if people are making decisions on their own about what they want to do with their money, then that's good, but let's give them the right tools to and the right data to make the right decisions. The amount of investors that don't know how to read an income statement but buy stocks is alarming, frankly. And so, you know, you don't have to be a CPA, CFA to understand the financial statements that we provide our customers, but a base level understanding is good. So our largest customer is Google Finance. And before we started working with them, when you type up a stock, you get the stock ticker, right? And we've all typed in a stock ticker, and you see like the performance there, and then that's kind of what you get on the side. It says if they beat or miss. Now it shows their financials, and you can click on it, and it goes to the financials that they've built out, and that's all our data. And I'm like, the amount of people now that are like, maybe because of this integration, like actually looking like this is a good company, or like does stock go up is not, you know, those are two very different ways to invest.
So I do want to, oh, sorry, you can go in front of me.
And that goes back to the first point, like product sophistication has increased dramatically. People's comprehension of that data is not there. So like the AI layer on top of that, yes, they like explain what this means to people is so it's perfect at it. Like it doesn't. Anyways,
Yeah, no, completely. I just wanted to open this up for questions. If anyone had any. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick question. Like we talk a lot about what you can do with AI, right? But what are you hearing from your customers, right? Like what do they actually want? There's like obviously like a big potential that you can do, but like what are they saying to you that they want, whether it's on Tilt, Questrade, or even from Fiscal?
I'll start like on our recently we launched a pro product in there. We're connecting it to Boosted AI. You can query it on
Good leading question, smart man. Are you looking for a job?
Really interestingly, like my son's an intern at Questrade, and he's working on that exact problem right now. Like, how do we get engagement from people? I think this is where it goes back to that first question: is how many people are willing to take AI and use it for financial services? And it's surprisingly low, and I don't get it because I'm sure you've seen the take up hasn't been. And so we're trying. How do we embed this and get people like you have a tool that you can use it or not, but it can give you more data in a human way. So it's funny, like we haven't seen a huge, like there's a group like on the MCP side, like give us these tools, MCPs and CLIs, and let us, skip open banking, we can bypass it. I'm probably one of those people, like let's do that. But the general Canadian investor is still not there comfortable like taking financial services and using AI, right? Which makes, no one's saying it has to do anything for you, right? Like run your portfolio through it and see what happens. Like, are you scared about the data? There's nothing in your portfolio that other people don't have, right? Like, it's not like your health records. But it's still very early. And so that's what's really interesting. How do we build AI into these tools? And I know we're working really closely with Andrew's team and you guys, and I'm assuming you're from Boosted, you're nodding. Yeah. So yeah.
Let me reverse the question. Boosted is a customer of ours. What are you guys looking for?
What are you guys seeing?
It's like
How come you're not a customer
it's
of
like a
mine?
circular
That's so
deal
good.
happening here.
But yeah, that's a problem. We're actually actively talking to our alpha group. Like, what do you guys want to see from this, right? Like, we have this tool here. Take-up's been okay, but what are we missing here, right? Like, what will make you more comfortable? Do we automatically have to feed it to you? Like, and so that's one aspect. Maybe that's how to do it. But yeah, it's still early, and
Just complete side note, but it is Toronto Tech Week, and this is pretty cool because we supply Toronto company data. You're supplying the AI service to Questrade, Toronto company, and you're now working on custom indexes with Questrade.
yeah,
Go Toronto. Let's go.
It's amazing what's going on. Yeah, it's exciting.
We're seeing something pretty simple. So you can think of us like a two-sided marketplace. People who make methodologies or companies that make methodologies like S&P, they need all their content to be machine readable, composable, etc. That's a big lift. On the wealth management side, which is really like who we're selling into, they have a simple concern, which is my clients are going to ChatGPT or my clients are going to Claude, and I'm not in the conversation, and I have no concept. And I feel like I'm going to get blindsided one day, and the portfolio is just going to move out of my possession. Plus, there's like generational wealth transfer coming, and 70% of people are wanting to move off their advisor. So their whole thing is, how do I just get line of sight to the things my client is thinking about? So we just started working on this new product for them, which is just a giveaway for free. But every investor authors an investor policy statement with their advisor. Think of it that's your personal methodology. That's your investment charter. All the things that are in scope for you. And so when advisors use this authoring tool with their clients now, anytime their client thereafter goes and starts talking to ChatGPT or Claude and wants to reference it back to their charter, the advisor is automatically getting visibility into that conversation. Just something super simple just to take the panic level down 2 notches.
Okay. This will be the last one. It better be very profound.
Andrew, building on your comment, like many of us in the tech think that the future will be headless and agentic. Do you see it that way? And if you see it that way, do you see that happen to wealth as well? Like it actually become the utility before the agent versus owning the custom experience layer as, for example, Questrade owns now?
That's a really good question. Like me personally, yes, but that's not. There's going to have to be a unified experience. That's what it'll be a unified experience, but it will be a customer experience that will then either be owned by the Questrades or the financial institutions and connect to other ones. So there's still I believe there's still a huge market to own the experience. Although personally, nothing would make me happier than every single financial institution I have having an MCP. Yeah.
In the future, I predict there will be no more predictions.
Yeah, I think it would definitely fee compression. I'll just start there. I think that's obvious. I think on every side, there's going to be fee compression. The thing that we used to pay 25 or 50 basis points for was the rebalancing of ETFs, and we called it a robo-advisor, and that's definitely free as of this moment. If you're paying for that, I promise you don't need to. So then what follows that? But I still think there's a role, right? I just think that it's time at the end of the day that we're constrained by. So I have a family office and a CIO, not because I'm in the investment industry. I ran a quant fund previously. I just don't have the time, right? And so I think if time is your binding constraint at some level, you're going to delegate to some professional. It's just going to come down to what tools are they equipped with.
I think that's an amazing place to end it. We started the panel with the question, is stock picking the best way to think about AI in the trading space? And I think evidently no, it's not. And maybe it's helping us make less emotional decisions or silly mistakes or giving us time back. But that's a very the question is too narrow of a frame of reference. So with that, I'd like to thank the 3 of you guys. This was a lot of fun, and thank you all for coming.